Hello, Little Green. My name is Mr. Severin. I am a Year 3 teacher in a school in central London. I'm also a friend of Miss Gay. We went to secondary school together. I sat next to her in English. Mr. Roberts and Miss Gay have asked me to talk a little bit about racism, about what I've experienced, about racism in our society, and about what we can do to sort of stop racism. So I think it's important to start by saying that every black person has either experienced racism or knows someone that has experienced racism. And I think that just goes to show how much racism there is in our society, in our country, and unfortunately in the world. My own experiences of racism, my very first incident of racism was when I was at secondary school. A boy in my form, he used some racist language towards me, and that made me feel really upset because I'd never experienced racism before. I was quite lucky in that sense, and this is someone that I saw every single day at school, and it really did hurt me a lot. And when I told my form tutor, the school got involved, and his parents got involved, and my parents got involved, and the school handled it really well because they were able to educate him and explain to him why what he said was wrong and what he said was inconsiderate, and they were able to make me feel comfortable and sort of calm me down. And then now, we're really good friends. So it does go to show that, some racists, they don't really understand why they're racist. They don't understand any logic behind being racist, or there is no logic behind racism. Another incident of racism that I had was when I was looking for a job, a part-time job, and I handed my CV to an employer, which is a piece of paper that has all of my grades that I got at school, all of my certificates for this job. And he said that at the moment they're not hiring, but I should try KFC. And this essentially is stereotypically black people eat a lot of chicken. And he was sort of saying, you're black, you should go and work where there's lots of chicken. And I think that was really hurt me a lot deeper than my first incident of racism, because this person was in a position of power. He was an employer. He hires people to come and work for him. And it made me think that if he's racist, then there could be lots of black people that are qualified to get the job, but didn't get it because he didn't want them to get it because of the colour of their skin. And it's baffling to not employ someone based on the colour of their skin. It's sad that some people act and behave this way, but that is what it is. So in terms of racism and being racist, I've drawn something here. I want you to have a look, and this will hopefully link when I explain. So hopefully you can work out what this is. I know I'm not the best drawer, but on the count of 3, if you could shout out what this is. 1, 2, 3. Yes, it is a cat. So at this point, I'm assuming you're quite confused and you're thinking that's not a cat, that's a house. And the reason you're thinking that it's a house is because from a young age, you're taught that, a house has roof, it has windows, it has a door, that, when we see this, we start to think and link it to a house. And no matter what I can say to you, you're not going to change that because that's what you know. In the same way, no one is born a racist. Racism is taught, and unfortunately it's taught from a young age. It's taught to children, and then as they grow up and as they get older, they have this in their head, this racism in their head, and they think that black people are inferior to them, and it becomes more and more difficult the older that they get to convince them that black people aren't inferior and that racism is wrong, because this is what they know. And it's the same as with the house. And what can we do to sort of get rid of that? What can we do to sort of change their minds? What we can do is we can raise awareness, okay? And that is what Black Lives Matter are doing. Now, I just want to be clear when I explain that Black Lives Matter does not mean that Black Lives matter more than any other lives. Black Lives Matter does not mean that white lives don't matter. What it means is that at the moment, black lives are in danger. At the moment, the quality of life, if you are black, is not as good as the quality of life if you are white. And that is what Black Lives Matter are trying to raise awareness for and are trying to change. Okay? And what we can do is that we need to tell people, and we need to be clear that this is not okay. It's not fair. And it is racism in our society. It's going into a shop and having someone follow you because they think that you're going to steal something just because you're black. It's committing a crime and getting a certain jail time, but a white person that committed the same crime will get a shorter jail time just based on the colour of their skin. It's an employer turning you away for a job because you're black. These are things that are ingrained in our society, and a lot of people feel that when people are tackling racism, they're tackling the country, they're tackling England, and they don't like that. And of course, Black Lives Matter are not tackling England, we're tackling racism. But the problem is that racism is so involved in our country and in the way that we do things that it's becoming difficult to separate the two of them. And some people can't separate the two of them, which is why they are not understanding the difference between the racism and the country. Okay? So I understand this is, really quick whistle stop tour. But if I leave you with anything, I'd like to leave you with the fact that it is now not enough to be not racist. We now need to be anti-racist. And what I mean by that is, if there was an incident in your playground and you saw something, it's not enough for you to sit there and see it happening knowing that you're not involved. You would need to go and actively tell a teacher, this is happening and we need to stop it. So in the same way with racism, it's not enough for us to sit there and keep quiet. We need to tell people that this can't carry on. We need to go out. We need to peacefully protest. Okay? If you have any questions, please do send them to me. I will try my best to answer. I can't promise that I'll be able to answer all of your questions, but I will try my best. Thank you, Little Green, and I look forward to hearing from you.